How's it going? This is Hoiman, and today we're taking a look at the Totaku Heihachi Mishima figure. So, this is based on his new design from Tekken 7. It would have been nice if they went with his original design since it's more iconic, but since this was to coincide with his more recent game, I suppose it makes more sense. Overall, but I will say that design is pretty nice still overall. So I unfortunately don't have the packaging anymore, but I did keep the backdrop which comes in the packaging, and for the most part it's really nice. It has a nice illustration of one of the stages from the game, and then you have the name of the character, and then you have the logo on both sides, legal stuff, and then the back. It's just a simple grey, but I did stick on the back which is information on the character and his history. And then when you add the figure inside, overall it makes for a very nice display. Makes for a very nice diorama piece. So taking a closer look, I'd say this figure overall is okay. Like the likeness of the actual character, I mean, you can tell it's Heihachi, but at the same time it does look a bit off. Like I remember when I was going through Heihachi figures, it was hard to find one that looked decent. Like a lot of them were sort of crooked, and especially the eyes, they were always painted really off and not really straightforward, but this is the best one I could find. And still I find it still looks a bit off from the character. And overall it just looks a bit squished to one side. But other than that, it still looks nice. You can still tell who the character is, but for the rest of the body, I think that it looks really nice. You can see all the muscle tones and definition, and there's like this kind of wash to really bring out the sculpt. And then moving on to the wristband, you can see all the individually sculpted layers of bandages, and it's got this wash to bring the layers out. And then you can see the scar on his chest. And then his gauntlet looks really nice as well. Lots of detail in there. Has a nice wash to bring out the sculpt. And it's painted in a nice metallic gold. And you can see the patterns on his coat as well. And then the coat itself is kind of a glossy finish. But there's also this kind of black wash over it to bring out the sculpt and texture. And then he has the nice symbol here, which is nicely applied on. Same for this bottom pattern here. Really nice. And it is a bit of a softer material, so you don't have to worry about that breaking. And then down to his trousers, you can see all the sculpt and folds. Makes it look pretty realistic. And again, it has this wash to bring out the details. And then again, you have a nice pattern there. And moving down to his shins, again, sculpted very nicely, a lot of detail, nice gold metallic paint. And down to his feet, you can see all the straps for the sandals, they look really nice. And then the floor itself is kind of like this burnt volcano sort of stage, which is to go with the backdrop. But again, you can see all the sculpted in with the red painted lines to bring out the sculpt. And then down here you just have some legal stuff. So my final thoughts are, if you're a huge fan of this character or the game, then I do recommend this figure. But like I already said, it is hard finding a decently painted Heihachi, since most of them I saw were kind of really wonky in its eyes, and all the shading was kind of all over the place. Like I came across one where the shading on the whole figure was just overwhelmingly too much, to the point where his skin was almost black. So this is like the only decent one I could find out of like 10. So if you can find a nice looking one, then I do recommend it. But at the time of this video, the figure's been out for a few years, but overall he hasn't really increased in price or anything, so it should be relatively easy to find. But at the same time, it's just hard finding a decent looking one. But that's my review. Thank you for watching, and enjoy some pictures.